Hello and welcome to the FTC Robotics Programming Tutorial Series. My name is Cayden Codel and I am a programmer for Team 7617 Elemental Fusion. And today we'll be covering an introduction to method writings. So inside the FTC Programming Tutorials project folder, I've created a new class called Methods, and this is a clean new class we can use to cover method writing. So in the last class we covered how to create and manipulate primitive data types and how to cast them into different types, but today we'll be covering how to write methods. So I'm going to create the main method here, and as you know, this method is run when the program is run. And before we get started, I'll have to explain that there are two main components to Java class writing, and that's methods and variables. And we've already covered variables extensively here, but methods we have not yet covered, so we're going to do that today. So before we begin, we'll need to create two integers called first integer and second integer. We'll set those values to 5 and 7. And then we'll print those to the screen, or to the console. Okay, so if we run the program, it'll print 5 and 7. We've seen that before, and that's much to be expected. Okay, so now let's get out of the main method brackets here, and let's write our first method. And then I'll explain each part of it as we go. So as you can see in the public static void main method, I will write public. And public just means that it could be seen by pretty much everybody. And for now, we're just going to use public. We're going to cover each of these keywords more in depth later. But right now, this just means that it's visible to anybody that wants access to it. Then the next keyword is static. This means that it's the same for any version of the method class that is created or used, and that is true, as you will see soon. The next keyword is the return type. And the return type is whatever value you want it to return. So just like in mathematics, you have a function that returns numbers. Here you can return any data type you want. For the purpose of this method, we want to return an integer, as we want to add two integers together. And then the name of the method. So we're going to name this method add integers. And then you have your parentheses and then brackets. Now something you can put inside the parentheses, this is optional, you don't always have to do this, is what are called parameters. And parameters are values that you can give the method in order to manipulate with. So for now we're going to give it int first and int second. And to add values you need its type and its name, but not any values because these values can change. And then you have access to these variables just as if you had created them a little higher in the method. So right now it's giving us an error, and it says that you must return a result of type int. So right now if a program called the add integers method, it wouldn't receive any value. The Java compiler thinks it's going to get a type integer value back, but instead it doesn't get anything. So we have to return some type, and in this case it's of type integer. So this method adds integers, so we're going to want to create a third int called third, and then add first and second. Now, although we can add integers very easily outside the method, as seen as in the previous project, this is an exercise in method writing. So we're just going to pretend like this is a much more advanced thing, whereas we're just going to get a hold on method writing. So this sets the value of first and second to the integer third, and then we can return that value by using the keyword return. And then we can return third. And then when the method is called, it'll take these two values, add them together, and then return the value of third. So we come up here, we're going to learn how to call methods. So int third integer, and then when you set it equal to something, you can set it equal to a method as well, as long as the type matches. So we can say add integers, and then you have to pass it two integers, so first integer and second integer. And then the method will return the value of first plus second and set that equal to third integer. And then we can print that to the screen. And if we run the program, we will see that third integer is set to a value of 12. And that is true. third integer is set to the value of 12. Now, something interesting about methods is that any values that are passed to it cannot be edited directly. So if we say first is equal to first plus 5, and then second is equal to 0, then if we run the method, the values of first integer and second integer are not going to be edited. And we can test this by printing them to the screen before and after the method is called. And if we run the program, we will see that it will print 5, 7, and then the method will be run, and then 5 and 7, and then 12. So if we run the method, we do see that it's 5, 7, 5, 7, and then 12. So these values cannot be changed when they are passed. So that's one method down. So let's write another one. Let's say that we want to find a mystery. Like methods, you can make it whatever you want. It doesn't need to be some kind of operand. It could be whatever you want. So mystery, we can call it mystery. An int first, int second. And then we can say int third. And then maybe we could say it's equal to first times first plus second. And then we can return third. And just like up above, we can create another integer, fourth integer, is equal to, and then call the method mystery, first integer, second integer, and first integer has a value of 5, so if we come down here we can see it's 5 times 5, which is 25, plus whatever second integer is, which is 7, and this should return a value of 32. And order of operations are followed in Java, so multiplying does come before addition, so if I swapped this statement with this one, it would still run the same way. So if we print fourth integer to the screen, we'll see that it will print the value of 32. And it does print the value of 32. So that's an introduction to method writing. I hope this was useful in increasing your knowledge of how to program in Java, and I will see you in the next episode.